Because our purpose is to promote, to create, but also to promote and to set the best expectation of mentoring, coaching, and supervision globally. So kind of we're creating an ecosystem where our dialogue means something. I'm so excited, so happy to have you all here and your contribution through this dialogue series, through direct reach to all of us, anyone of the executive board, anyone in the council, really will make a difference so that we'll learn from each other and we'll all put our energy in the same basket in order to achieve maybe more aligned goals in order to create a better future for humanity. And even maybe before the future, I should talk about today with all the challenges we face today.
I'm reminded of how there's a constant need to create meaning. And I personally think that is an ongoing exercise, and that our practice does allow us to create meaning for people, for organization, and find purpose in that. And I think we never should underestimate the absolute hunger we have for creating a meaningful life and meaningful actions. And I wish that I would spend the rest of my life honoring that, and that other people could also, in their own way, because there's no absolute value in itself that one can find in life.
Again, just kind of looking at kind of where we sit and how we're looking to kind of grow, it's always really helpful to kind of have those opportunities to kind of reflect to the EMCC community and network. So it's really a great opportunity for us, or for me at least, get a chance to kind of meet other members and to kind of see where we can hopefully come together, make those connections and collaborate. So that's definitely something I'm hoping to kind of take away from this experience.
And for me, it's been so inspirational to hear all the other stories about how you've all developed and grown, and your reach as well is just absolutely incredible. All three of you, your reach is just inspiring. And to everyone that's joined our session today, thank you. Again, the networking session was great just to talk to you all.
Learning new ways and allowing creativity. And to be creative, we learn new ways. We also have to engage in recursive rethinking. And as George Kelly, the psychologist, said, we can't be creative unless we can loosen our construing. And what he meant by that is loosen the constructs that we hold, the way we make sense of life. Staying awake is staying alive. It's awake to the world we're in. So I'm sorry I don't know the name of the person who put that down, but I loved it, and it fits beautifully in with the whole of this thinking. I shall, 2 little words, take away with me, that summarizes it all. We can go through life sleeping, and we can go through life staying awake.
We need to be alert to what our clients are sort of going through on a day-to-day basis, and almost mirror that and make sure that we are aware of what that is, and even if it's technology, but topics and issues that we need to sort of be mindful of, and therefore help be better prepared to help them with.
I think the thing that's come across loud and clear to me is just that learning and innovation, that power of collaborating and co-creating learning, and today doing this across different geographies, different professions, different spaces, different everything. This is where the power that drives our future lies, I think, doing these co-creative things. So it's been wonderful. I'm delighted that we were invited. Collaborating with my panelists in advance was amazing, and being here today with all of you has just taken it to another level.
We kind of discussed meeting your clients where they are, but I think there's also something about meeting ourselves where we are and being kind to ourselves and kind of saying, okay, so we know that we're on this journey of expanding and learning about learning and innovation, but being gentle with ourselves as we do it. Because I know for me, there's so many ways that I could wish to explore this. And if I start to think about all of those, I won't do anything. So pick one. And I think that's what I'll be reflecting on afterwards. Which one thing am I going to lean into a little bit more and expand that and see where I go from there. So
what I loved about this session is people opening up. There was clearly reflection going on, and also polarism in terms of connecting with the story or not. So there's a lot of learning there for all of us in terms of the ways we can use fairy tales and other stories, fables, etc., with our clients in coaching, supervision, and mentoring. It's also a fabulous tool for self-reflection as well. Who am I playing out right now?
I learned once again the rich dynamics that arise in us when we look at conflict. And I also learned some really beautiful lenses that some of you are using to approach conflict and the learnings that you've already had.
I think I'd just like to show my appreciation to my co-presenters who have taken, if you like, a belief, a concept in terms of the training package that we developed and have turned it into something very real. And I just, I'm going to take away that I really do feel that the impact of two things. It's a two-way gate. Impact of practicing inclusion on coaching, and the contribution that coaches can make to inclusion. And yes, I want to appreciate that from all of your contributions, actually.
I'm taking away curiosity. I'm loving the curiosity that I'm getting from people, in the sense of really wanting to engage with this incredibly, and I won't even call it a topic, it's a way of living, a way of being. It's who we are in essence about what we're doing as coaches, mentors, supervisors, leaders of organizations. So I'm really thrilled that so many people have joined us, and I just feel really heartened by that. And I hope that the needle will keep moving, because we have a very, very, very long way to go.
Listening to the other speakers and listening to people who've joined us for the group and their experiences, further learning and motivation to learn more. I'm a very curious person, and I've been really inspired, and I always am inspired by fellow practitioners in coaching and mentoring, and how knowledgeable they are and how much I can learn from them. So always more learning. I absolutely love it.
Everybody's generosity today. I think people have been on the pitch, so to speak. You know, I think everybody's turned up and everybody's taken part. So appreciation and generosity are two words.
But we're all very in-person people with mentoring and coaching, but we've diversified, and it looks like we've taken up that virtual medium to continue that development. And is it working? Yes, I think it is. And I think it's working for all the industries, particularly those industries that have competencies that you can develop and behaviors that you can develop. So as long as you've got competencies, you can actually, and a framework, you can actually transfer this resilience development system into your industry. Because one, it's going to reduce absenteeism, it's going to increase performance, it's going to increase resilience, and also it's going to improve, if you're in safety critical industry, it's going to improve safety, because the pilots are developing those behaviors that they can deploy to any situation.
Never underestimate where a small idea could potentially go. You know, someone has to plant the seed, but don't underestimate how tall that seed could possibly grow. And I think this is a perfect example here where someone had an idea, planted that seed, and we took hold of it. So if you happen to be that person, certainly don't underestimate where your idea could potentially go one day. So that's a key insight, a key takeaway that I've taken from this conversation and just listening to what people have got to say.
Sharing the story of what it means to you to have a mentor, or to share the story and the learnings you have by being mentored by somebody else is the key. I think when people can share their stories, learn off each other, is how we grow the best, and how we learn more about this thing called life, which I think is the key to mentoring.
So it's all about being adaptable in the moment, and not trying to impose our idea of how the conversation should go, but to give the team much more control over that. So we're there as a catalyst, or and I do say a catalyst rather than a reagent, because we are inevitably changed by the system that we enter into.
It's been such a delightful conversation today to hear all of the different aspects that people are thinking about. And to me, I guess I'm really buoyed by the conversation, because I think that the opportunity for organizations and for teams is working collectively. And so whether that's with an individual team, whether with multiple teams, getting the team leader to be more effective with his or her team, all of that sort of stuff is what we have the power to do. And so to me, to really back yourself and feel, as we talked about today, about really feeling comfortable in that complexity and really knowing that you can make a difference. And don't do this stuff on your own. There's huge amounts of support out there, whether it's supervision, whether it's other colleagues, whether or not it's going to a class, reading a book, what have you. Reach out for support and really resource yourself. We're all doing it. Even those of us on the panel are still getting resourced today. So thank you so much, everyone. It's great to be in the pool with you all.
I think we have to move from trying to sell team coaching, because of its very nature, it's not a product, and actually partner with the leader we've been coaching, or with the HR person, or with the OD person, and build a true partnership. And that means not trying to be the expert, not trying to sell the solution, but to understand and help them discover their unspecified needs, help them really engage what would look like and feel like if the team was better, and take a partnership approach, because that's what we're going to be doing in the team coaching. I think that's the way we'll have success in actually translating these ideas to a vibrant business as well.
We are presenting something which is complicated and requires us to think in different ways. And because of that, we've got to learn ways to present of making this accessible to the great army of coaches, the great army of supervisors. And I think we've got a lot of work to do that. But it's important for the future of coaching that we do.
We need to create dialogue. We're not trying to convince or sell. We're looking to create dialogue or approach. We bump into things. We bump into the same things. And we bump into different versions of things and new things. So thanks for all your input and perspectives. It's enriched our work and hopefully enriched your work as well.
It is a journey we're still on. There's some way to go, but we'd like to get it done pretty quickly, because there's a lot of team coaches out there now, and we hope to generate that interest in understanding about what team coaching supervision offers as a new discipline. So thank you all for contributing to that today.
I've been absolutely overwhelmed by the interest and engagement, quite flattered really by how much interest there has been in my research. So I've very much enjoyed the engagement of the group today. It's been wonderful. Identifying these new demands, the world is continuing, the pressures are increasing. I'm very conscious of these universal demands that are now upon us with, as I mentioned before, the cost of living crisis, the war, the new world leaders, power struggles, and sort of towards the latter end of the session here, talking about the credibility and validation of our learners to be able to feel like professionally can be entitled to, provide expert help and increase their emotional intelligence, understand what their employees need. And we did discuss throughout today this work-life balance aspect, which is going to continue because a lot of people are now permanently working from home 1, 2, 3 days a week even. So final notes, yes, all about thinking like a coach, and being conscious of the pressures on us, therefore the importance of supervision. So thanks very much for that. That's very much my key points that I've taken out from today. Thank you.
And we're already making connections between sessions that took place yesterday and sessions that are taking place today. And the fact that those connections can continue, the ability to connect with their 40-odd like-minded people in a room that we some never met before across different parts of the globe, and there's a real sense of energy to want to continue that connection in different ways, and to be open to connections of those who would like to keep in contact with us. Sort of key things taking away for me is really this idea of rethinking as a coach, this recursive rethinking. And certainly one thing today was about supervision and rethinking supervision. And I am really curious now about, what the activity has been like in a post-COVID world with supervision and how people access that in comparison to maybe how they accessed it in a pre-COVID world. So that's a takeaway for me. So thank you for helping to stimulate that thought in me.
So the formal content, having strong, standards to help have a quality and sustainable mentoring program is really key in complement to having all these informal aspects. And what we need to keep in mind doing all that is really thinking of, okay, what are the tools and standards that we need to follow so we can be able to look at what we are doing as mentors, and keeping in mind that we're here to support the mentees and be able to answer to the question, how do we individually meet the needs of our mentees as mentors? And this also signal the importance of training both mentees and mentors for this mentoring journey, as well as accompanying the mentors in their own continuous development as mentors along the way.
Think about, the different phases and the different types of conversations to be having. And then I was excited to see all of you getting activated and grounded in different ways with the superpowers, because I think it's a fun way to start talking more about who we are and what's possible with our approaches.
Each sessions like this, I learn how to facilitate better. And just by watching your responses, I realized that transcript and looking at videotapes, but really staying so close to the narratives of our clients, it's so important. So that's another amazing reminder that all of you are reading and you're engaging in this conversation with another person. You just can't study conversation about conversation. You have to be doing it and looking at it. And that's the only way that we can actually learn and get better. So that's what I'm taking away from this session. And thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for being so included and so active in the conversation. It's been great to hear lots of different voices, and thanks, Karen, for providing such rich content to trigger our thinking and interactions in the breakout rooms as well.
So I thought it was a really good session. I thought there was a lot of really good, interesting feedback that came about technology and people's nervousness around where it's going to go. And whether or not it's technology that is going to enable or take over, and definitely our intention is enablement and acceleration, and then finally into the culture area, the accountability, the using the data to increase the accountability at the people that we have on the platform is what's interesting about trying to change the culture, and people being interested in living in a company, working in a company where that sort of thing is intended, is what has been bought in. You've got a greater chance of changing culture. I really enjoyed the conversation with everyone here. I thought some really good thoughts came out of it from both different perspectives. So I really enjoyed it.
For me, I think my takeaway is just how well placed we are as coaches. I loved what Tatiana was sharing about our ethical, framework in which we operate, and how, for me, that is the platform on which we can actually build with AI and technology to enhance already what is an effective and trusted way of having impact and change, individuals and with groups. So I was really excited to be here. I think it has also made me realize how many more such conversations we need to have, sharing our insights, knowledge, thoughts, questions, because together we have more power in making sustainable change as we share these ideas. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
listening to my peers as well as the conversation in the breakouts, coaching is just such a connector. I hear it across connections up and down job levels. I've heard it in conversations about increasing connections with clients. And I hear it connecting cultures as well as firms work across and with other countries as well. There's a lot of commonalities. There's a few distinctions around, sort of cultural elements that are unique, but I feel like there are more commonalities around the investment and the need of coaching as a connector.
This session has been really, really eye-opening in the sense that there's so much commitment towards coaching in the Grant Thornton member firms, and the fact that, like Wendy mentioned, there are a lot of commonalities as well. But I think starting early, preparing coaches to receive coaching, while we focus a lot on coach providers, is something which really stands out. And also encouraging women to stay in the running, as Rima mentioned, and not fall off the grid is some important takeaways for me.
What I really enjoyed is the amount of engagement. I mean, the chat was buzzing, and what I loved is the questions, right, that go on. Of course, I mean, there is interest in Thrive and what do we do and how do we match mentors and mentees. I have particularly enjoyed and learned a lot from, the conversation that we've had around languishing and around what we can do as a community. And this head versus heart, as Becky put it, really, because volunteering, we know, allows us to feel a sense of meaning and purpose. And at the same time, we are pushed today because we are let's say we are pulled today in so many directions that it can become challenging. And sometimes it can be this whole notion of what I should do versus what I want to do, right? And it's a continuous struggle, but I really love the way the community interacted during this session, and I'm really hoping that we can invite lots and lots of thrivers, as we call them. I see also a lot of commentary in the chat saying the session was very uplifting and inspiring, and that excellent work done by Thrive. I think that always says a lot, especially for somebody who might be very new to the organization.
Being a part of Thrive, every time I talk about it, I get excited and rejuvenated myself. And I've also found some interesting insights in the conversations about languishing. I think there was someone who mentioned that we didn't really get a chance to recover from the trauma that we experienced during the pandemic. And there's a confusion between if it ended or not, but we never had a period where we just rested, I guess, or did nothing at all. We kind of went about in our own lives. I think that was a definite, really important reflection for me, and also other insights as well that came up. Very helpful.
Don't think this is an exclusive club. There may be people on this chat, on this Zoom, who think this isn't for me, or it isn't for somebody like me, or it isn't for somebody from the country I live in, or maybe things around feeling of fraud or whatever that. I think put that aside and go for it. There's so much opportunity here. The thing I've just put in the chat is to really, if you're looking for extra contributions, consider becoming a global volunteer. I have no vested interest in saying this, but the work that I've done as a global volunteer, I've really enjoyed it. I've worked with incredible people, and I think we've done some really good work. So maybe think about becoming a global volunteer. And there's a question in my mind, Chandan, as to how people can reach out for that, but maybe we can pick that up separately.
Joyous and humbled to be here. And I think inspiration is all around us. We just have to look. And I leave the session feeling very inspired and encouraged to do and be a lot more. Thank you.
Reflect on what we're doing and trying to have a vision, on what we want, where we want to go. So that's a great opportunity.
There's something here about really getting to grips with the language, and at the same time, bringing back this point of governance is not just about structures. It's not around what the various different papers that articulate the framework of decision making for the board, such as authorities, responsibilities, and all of that good stuff. It is actually about how you show up, who you are, how you work together. And it's these characteristics that can be measured and should be measured by boards and should actually inform the way they think about the culture in the organisation.
Start by saying thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about my journey, because there was another journey of self-reflection in the preparation for today. What I would want to say to people that are considering it, don't think about the qualification, think about the journey. And the qualification, I think Vijay said at the start, that's the cherry on top. But the journey for me was so powerful, and so developmental and so affirming because of the way EMCC works. Getting the qualification was great, but the journey was the experience.
Because actually we all have areas. I have things I'm not proud of. I have attitudes I'm not proud of. There are things that I'm not conscious of that I will do wrong. I'm based on a whole load of assumptions. So there's something in all of us that we may not be proud of. So I think to retain our humility at all times.
Yeah, and it's great to be with Rita in Barcelona. And the thing about being in Barcelona is that the food and the wine keeps coming and coming. So so the next time you see us on the video, you'll see Rita twice the size. You'll be catching up with me.
We should do that more often. We shouldn't wait for the next GPS, but we should, Peter, we should have such dialogue on an ongoing basis. So thank you very much.
And do join us at the book launch.
Of course. Thank you, organizers, our admin team, Denise, all accreditation team, and all of you, EQA providers, EIA holders, our community, for making it happen today. So thank you very much.